Freddy vs. Jason from 2003 has a bunch of interesting deleted scenes, as well as an alternate opening and one alternate ending that was filmed, as well as several others that weren't. And I've got a hold of some deleted lost workprint scenes. Today we're going to take a look at all of it and talk about what might have been.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Place your bets.
Freddy vs. Jason was the first Freddy or Jason film that I got to see in theaters. I was born in 1991. I was still young enough that these movies genuinely scared me, and this movie has had its hooks in me ever since. Now that it's been over 20 years, I wanted to chat about every bit I could find on deleted scenes, alternate endings, and lost footage. So first up, let's talk about the alternate opening for this movie. It's more of an extended opening, but there is more to Jason's nightmare sequence. We see a Camp Crystal Lake sign, and in this opening, Heather is revealed to be a camp counselor who is sneaking out to meet a boy. However, one of the kids, Billy, had a nightmare, and he asks her to stay until he falls asleep. She scolds him and sends him back to bed before heading out to the dock, with the scene we all know and we're familiar with. In this version, though, when she comes out of the water and sees what we can assume is Jason off-screen, she runs back to the cabin instead of directly into the woods. Also worth noting that for some reason the score during this scene on the deleted, alternate opening here is Marco Beltrami's Welcome to Woodsboro from Scream. That's just too iconic to use here. Why not use something from a Friday the 13th film? Or even a Nightmare on Elm Street film, I guess. Anyway, she gets to the door, which is now locked, and she calls to Billy for help, who just stares at her and flips her off. And then she runs away into the woods, and the rest of the scene is the one we know. Then we've got the rest of the deleted scenes from this movie, and I'd say the most popular one is one that's in the trailer.
Place your bets.
Fortunately for us, that is included here, but we'll get to that later. The first deleted scene is when Gib and her boyfriend go upstairs at Laurie's house. They're taking their clothes off, and he's giving her more shit. Just, shows him treating her like shit. It doesn't change much, but it does add a little context, I guess. Another scene has the Weston Hills orderly looking at a guy foaming at the mouth, and a comment from Mark and Will in line nearby.
If I turn out like that, put a pillow over my face, will you?
This is another quick one. It shows us more with these characters, and it shows us how the tension's building and stuff, I guess, but I don't know. The next one has Laurie's father arriving at the police station to pick her up after the first murder. They embrace. We really don't need to see this, but it does go to show that her dad isn't, a murderer. He may not be a great guy, but he's not like the monster that Will thinks he is. In the next one, Laurie leaves her house, walks around the corner, and she starts to have visions of her nightmare. Or at least, the way they're displaying this, she's thinking about her nightmare. She goes back to the front door, which is yellow, but in her dream it's red. She starts scratching the yellow paint off to reveal the infamous red door beneath. This one I like. I kind of like what this scene does. This house is so iconic, and so is the door itself. It has some emotional depth to see her scratching at the door like this, Her psyche is coming undone. Next, the girls show up to school the next day.
Stop staring at me!
And Gib yells at everyone to stop staring at her. And I think this just shows her grieving process at work. She's miserable. Then we see Will and Mark sneak into the school, and the bell rings and they get lost in the chaos. Shots I think were better left out because I personally like the impact of when Mark just shows up singing the Freddy song at that scene. Like, we don't know they've made it to the school yet when he does that. If you have this scene in there, we do. Bonus fun fact, Evangeline Lilly is an extra in this scene as a high school student. I've been rewatching Lost for the billionth time, so this is just cool to see. Then you've got the scene with Mark and Will in front of the vending machine. This plays out just a little bit differently. The principal, played by Robert Shea, approaches them first before the cops. Then, of course, they run out of the school the same way. This didn't add anything to it. It was just kind of like a fun cameo, and it's like a really niche cameo. I feel like at the time, even more niche. I feel like enough of us Nightmare on Elm Street nerds know what Robert Shea looks like now, but maybe back then we didn't. I certainly didn't back then. Then we've got one with Laurie getting in the car with the girls to head to the party. They chat about whether they're up for it or not. A lot of this stuff you can understand why it's deleted scenes, That's the thing you learn going through deleted scenes for movies is sometimes there's like 2 or 3 in like a selection of 10 or 20 that are awesome, but the rest are just kind of like, yeah, I get why they cut that. It goes on with the 3 of them in the car talking about why the party's out in a cornfield, footage of them parking and getting out to the party. This keeps going and we see a bunch of kids with glow sticks and beer bongs, stuff we already see in the original, but this is more of their initial arrival with them dancing around and stuff. It also includes the creep who tries to assault Gib, approaching Kia and getting told off.
You down for a light show?
You down for some pepper spray?
The more I watch this movie, the more I realize Kia is a girl's girl and a treasure. During Gib's nightmare, a CGI-ass zombie boyfriend, Trey, walks towards her, and I can tell that this just probably wasn't a finished effect, but it also just was unnecessary. I like it better when he's just walking around and he's like having to hold up his zombie head. Then we also have Mark's nightmare. That's extended. He sees footage of his brother on his computer, picking up a razor and getting into the bath to kill himself. I will say, in the theatrical cut, the exposition for this scene is god-awful. Like, holy shit. I will say that. This movie is not perfect. Do I love it? Yes. But sometimes you're like, oh. Then Freddy tells Mark,
Didn't Mama tell you never to talk with your mouth full?
and eels start to pour out of his mouth. It's kind of gnarly, but the CGI isn't quite there, you know. There's a short clip of them splitting up when they get to Weston Hills, Scooby-Doo style. The scene where they investigate the people in hypnosil comas, this has a bit of extra dialogue. In another deleted scene, Freeberg wakes up as Freddy and starts pouring the hypnosil down the drain. Then you've got Linderman in the back of the van talking to Kia. He apologizes and she says not to worry about it. They kind of have a moment before a Jason jump scare. And this just gives you some of the development of the last-ditch effort romantic interest there between the two of them. You've also got another quick scene with Will and Laurie in the car having a few words before getting out and kissing. Then you have the infamous Place Your Bets scene, which has some extra dialogue other than the Place Your Bets itself.
Freddy vs. Jason. Place your bets.
The best line of the bunch, though, is,
You're slow, you're stupid, you got no style.
the last deleted scene that isn't an alternate ending is with Kia and Linderman. There's some more dialogue here between the two of them before she leaves. It's nothing big. Then you've got the alternate endings. And first up, we're going to talk about the one they actually filmed that's included on here. This is what they call the OG ending, and I have to say, it's not great. Will and Laurie are in bed, about to finally have sex, and then Will is like super aggressive and weird about it. He chokes her, and the movie sort of throws back to Freddy's revenge, and blades grow from his fingertips, and he slashes at her as the credits roll. I just don't really like when Freddy gets actually sexual and creepy. It just skeeves me out a little bit much. Not in the right way. Then we've got the ending they didn't film, which is explained by the writers in a special feature on the physical media release. Through concept art, we can see some of what it may have looked like, but in this version, when Freddy and Jason are launched into Crystal Lake, a giant hand would reach out of the water and drag them both down. The human characters would escape. Then, in a dark void, which we can assume is hell, they continue to fight surrounded by demons like gladiators of hell. And yes, I know, everyone in the comments, I'm going to talk about the Pinhead ending, even though it's kind of, whatever to me. The writers apparently did write an ending with Pinhead, but basically they couldn't get the rights to Pinhead. And not necessarily that they couldn't, but they didn't even try. Who knows? But anyway, this one also has them ending up fighting in hell before being pulled apart by chains, with Pinhead approaching and being like, "Hey, yo, what's the problem there, fellas?" This would have potentially led to a sequel that we don't know if it would have been any good or not. What's more interesting is that an Ash versus Jason versus Freddy, almost went into development. There were script treatments done for that thing. And I think they just couldn't agree on who should run the show. That could have been great. It was later turned into a comic series, and I think it even got a sequel series, but it's pretty interesting stuff, right? Lastly, there's apparently more deleted scenes I personally haven't seen until now. The first is a completely different version of the beginning of the film. It's narrated by someone else.
We killed him. We thought we did the right thing, but we only made it worse. He's come back.
The part with Freddy is cut different. It doesn't have his narration over the scene with the parents killing him. It's a completely different way to experience the opening of this film. In this version, you get to hear Freddy screaming for his life as he burns alive. It's genuinely terrifying in a great way. Some of these scenes make the film darker. And I personally always really liked how they framed this movie. I think it was the best way they could have gone about combining these characters. Then during Blake's nightmare, there's a little bit more footage of Freddy at the end. And you'll notice these scenes also include Robert Englund's unaltered performance.
Not strong enough yet. I will be soon enough.
There's nothing to write home about here, but as a big Nightmare fan and a Robert Englund fan and a Freddy fan, it's cool to see anything else. Just him portraying this character on screen for a few extra seconds. Worth watching. Then during their first fight in Jason's dream, Freddy has a little bit of a speech when he takes child Jason's mask off.
Buried inside every
attracting young serial killer lies a scared, simpering little crybaby.
Now, this scene has always been a big point of contention between Freddy vs. Jason fans, and Jason fans in particular. They don't like how he's scared of water. And personally, I don't mind, because this is a dream sequence. He's not conscious, and it kind of makes sense that Freddy would at least momentarily be able to exploit this fear, but I can also see where people are coming from. I just don't bump into it myself. Then, during Laurie's nightmare, it features a little bit more of Freddy slashing at her mother before standing up to go after her. Again, I do like to see more of his performance here. It's interesting to see at least once, but I understand why it's not in the film. Freddy vs. Jason is, in my opinion, a pretty excellent movie overall. It has its issues like any slasher sequel does, but this one movie combines the lore of two of the most popular horror villains of all time. If you think about it, this isn't multiverse shit either. This basically retroactively puts them in the same universe, all of the films. They're basically the same franchise at this point. Let me know what you guys thought of all this extra footage. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Quick thank you to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. If you want more ecto-violence, including exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content, become a member by clicking the links in the description below.